We are recording. Begin.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. I'm Tim from Las Vegas.
Sam from the Pacific Northwest, y'all. Welcome.
Yes, and here we are, Sam, after a little bit of a break, but we are back.
Yes, a brief hiatus.
Yeah. So how you been, man?
Oh, dude, it's been going. Life is in full swing, and I'm enjoying everything. It's great, but man alive, I just want to be able to just kind of just chill for a little bit. And we were able to do that last night. It's one thing right after the other, and it's all good busyness. It's not anything that's like overly stressful or anything like that. It's just one of those things where, okay, I'm done with this, and instead of just going, it's all right, got to go and get ready for the next thing, and then after that's done, got to get ready for the next thing. And my wife and I find that it usually isn't until 8:30, 9 o'clock at night that we're actually able to go, okay, what do we want to do? Oh, let's watch this show. It's like, and then you go, then the next day you're like, let's watch this show. Oh, we're on this episode? Well, what happened the last episode? And you have to
sleep through it, yeah.
Because you slept through it, right?
Yeah.
Life is life, and it's great to be experiencing it because the alternative is not very cool. But we've been. Let's see. Today's Thursday. We're recording on a Thursday. We usually record on a Wednesday, but recording on Thursday, and life has not stopped since last Thursday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
I mean, it's just been going. And it's not bad. It's just, I want a break.
Right.
And I think one's coming this weekend. Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, good. Well, a lot of times, Sam, when situations like that happen, right? Because a lot of us get caught up in periods where, like you say, it's just, you don't have any time to do anything. Sometimes you just have to force a break. You have to actually plan a break. Like if you have things that are planned to do, you have to make plans to not do.
Yeah, you do. You do have to kind of work those things in there. And I think tomorrow morning, even though I have something to do, it's not the norm, and I can just I'm gonna go meet with a guy, and he's gonna talk to me about he's a guy that's local here that comes to our game nights at Steamers West, and he said he had an idea for a game, and he just wanted to bounce it off of me. He's not a game designer. This is like one of the first things that he's trying to do, I think, in that space. So I think it's just going to be a time where we talk through a bunch of stuff, and I we kind of just talk about it. It's not going to be very intensive, or it's not even going to feel like work. I think it's just going to be a coffee break with this guy. But and he's a good guy to just kind of hang around with and talk to. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be something I'm still doing something, but it's not the norm, and it's going to feel like work. What about you, man? You have just come back from world traveling, or at least America traveling.
America traveling. Yes, I did actually. I just got back Monday. I was at the Gathering for almost 2 weeks, like 13 days, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was the first one there actually. And, I was. And when I checked in, it was funny because I checked in, and I said, "Yeah, hi, I'm here for the Gathering." And the lady goes, "Oh, I know who you are." And I was like, "Oh, that's not good." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "You're just, just to verify your name." I'm like, "Yeah, Timm Metivier." She's like, "Oh, yep, that's you." She goes, "Hold on, I got something for you. I'll be right back." And she went in the office, and she came back with a bottle of champagne. And because this is the 35th year for the Gathering, right? And they were doing a celebration. And I was like, "Oh, thank you, but I don't drink." I mean, I don't know. And then I come to find out that she was going to give everybody who came like a little flu, or I don't know the word, like some long skinny glass, because I don't drink. So they were going to give everybody a drink of champagne. So yeah, she was about to open the bottle, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, I don't drink." So that was kind of cool. But yeah, it's a convention that goes on every year in April, and this year they had about 500 people, maybe a little bit less. and just nonstop gaming. I mean,
Mm.
one of my rules is I try to make sure I leave the room at 11:30 in the morning because usually you don't go to bed till about 4. So yeah, so a lot of late night gaming,
Okay.
just a lot of gaming.
So hold on now. Hold on. Look in the mirror. You see all that
Uh-huh.
gray?
Yep,
See all that gray? That
yep.
means we supposed to go to bed before the numbers click back to single digits, brother.
I know, but you know what? That I'm not like that, man. I'm not an early person. I really am not an early riser,
Get you.
and I just love playing. If I have the opportunity like this to play literally 24 hours, if I could, just people there all the time, I take advantage of it, and it was absolutely
Wow.
fantastic. Yeah, I
I
had a great time. Played a lot of games. It was really good.
Props, man. I can't do that. I used to be able to. I used to be a night owl, bro. I used to be that dude that could stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning and then bounce right back up at like 8 or 9. I can't do that anymore, brother. And it's my wife's fault. It's her fault that I'm not a night owl because she is the antithesis of a night owl. She
Oh yeah.
Once 10 o'clock hits, she's done,
Uh-huh.
and she might have like 30 more minutes left in the tank if we're watching a show and the show's almost over, but she gives me the stink eye if I start another episode
Oh
at
really? Yeah.
past 10 o'clock. Yeah. And because she bounces out of bed at 5:30 every morning. And so if she doesn't get to bed by 10:30, it makes it harder on her in the morning. And so since it's like that for her, I've just kind of curtailed my night owlness to her early birdness, but I am still not an early bird at all.
Right. And
Um,
also, yeah, to be honest, I mean, when I'm at home in my normal life, that's not me at all, of course,
mm,
but it's just when it was getting, and right now I'm paying for it. It's going to take me a couple of days I'm still recovering, recuperating to get back on my normal rhythm here.
yeah,
So,
I get you. Yeah,
yeah.
understood. Well, how was the gathering, man? Let me hear about where do they hold it now? Do they still hold it in New York?
Yes, yes, it's up in Niagara Falls. It's just really good. It's the thing, like I said, this is the 35th year, and
Mhm.
it's one of those kind of things where you have to get sort of nominated to go, and you have to get
Yeah,
seconded, and people have to
right.
what do you call it? Vouch for you, I guess, and you got to get approved and all this kind of stuff to
Yeah.
get in there. And this year they filled up real fast, like for the because pre-registration for next year and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
it's just really good. There's a lot of industry people, a lot of non-industry people. So you get to play games with a lot of designers, famous designers, publishers, people in the
Mhm.
industry,
Yeah.
people again who aren't in the industry who are just really great people. It's just a lot of fun. It's really good, and I'm very fortunate that I get to go, and it's like the highlight of my year every year.
Yeah, I think I might have probably lost my invitation at this point. It's been so long since I've been. When I was with the Dice Tower full time, we were able to get going. We all kind of got in through Tom, I think. And I just haven't been able to. It's a bad time of year for me because there's so much going on with the kids,
Right.
and so I'm hoping someday to get it back there. I love the area. Niagara Falls area is so beautiful, and I love that it's right there on the border, and you can pop
Right
over into
there.
Canada
Yep.
and enjoy Canada on the because that's where the real cool side of Niagara Falls is. It's in Canada.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, if you really wanna see the actual real I mean, you can see the real falls from Niagara
yeah,
Falls, right?
but
But
to
if you wanna see
experience,
the main
yeah,
great view part, you have to go to the Canadian side, yeah.
yep. Yep. So we really there's a really good Korean restaurant right down the street from the where the is it in the same hotel as it usually as it
It
was a
is.
few years ago?
It is, yep.
Yeah, there's a really good Korean restaurant right down the street, or at least there was. And I used to like going there for lunch instead of because I think there's like a shopping center that's real close that has a food court and all that other kind of stuff. Or no, the Rainforest Cafe that's right there in a hotel.
Yeah,
Anyway,
one of the only ones left in America, like
yes,
right,
I think so. But it's
and
just
it
one of those things
shows.
that a lot of good. I think the first time I played Fireball Island was at the gathering of friends with um, watch it played. Why can't I remember his name? Why
Quinn?
can't I remember his name?
Oh, what?
Watch
Oh,
it,
no, you're talking Rodney.
Rodney Smith.
Yeah.
Anyway, got to play it first. He's a tried and true Canadian, and he's very nice, as is the reputation that Canadians have.
Mhm.
Until you play Fireball Island with him, at that point he is no longer nice. But great guy. Great. There's a lot of great memories from the gathering. So that's a cool thing. That's a cool thing. Is Alan still going? Alan Moon? Is he still there, or has he? I know I heard that he relinquished control. He sold the company, I guess, or the whatever it is, to a couple of other people, but I didn't know if he was still involved at all.
No, 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 no. I don't think he sold it. I think he actually just turned it over to Bobby and Craig. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, he had personal issues or things in his life going on, and he was unable to make it this year.
Dang.
Yeah, I know. And it was the 35th anniversary. He started the whole thing. They have this
Mhm.
group they call the Undead. There are like I think there's 5 of them who have
Yeah.
been to every single gathering, 5 or 6 of them, and every year they play a game. It's sort of like a big ceremonial thing. And yeah,
Mhm.
and he started the thing. He was one of the 5 or 6 that have been there every single year, and unfortunately he had to miss this year. So yeah, it
Man,
was very. I'm sorry.
that sucks.
I know it was very different, right? Because, you like because when I got in and you did all this kind of stuff, you have to be approved by Alan, right? It was his thing.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
I'm really appreciative of the fact that I got in because of him and all this kind of stuff. So him not being there just made it a little bit incomplete, sort of for me, because we are friends. I do see him at other times throughout the year,
Mhm.
and talk to him on text and phone, all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yep.
him and Janet, his wife not being there was different.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so it was unfortunate.
All right. Well, what about games you got playing, man? What do you think? You probably have a lion's share of games that you can share with us. So
You
why
do.
don't you?
So what I'll do is I'll go off with about like 5 real quick. I played I got to count. I have hold on, but I got about 160 plays in. But
Oh,
again, when I
good.
say plays, what's that?
2 weeks, 106 games.
160
100.
plays. But when I say plays, Sam, I just want to reiterate, like sometimes, we play like the gang, right? And,
Yeah.
you got to get 3 out of 5 to win. So we'll play once and we win or lose. And it's like, hey, let's play again. So we may play 2 or 3 times in a row. That's what I mean by a play. But
Okay.
as far as different games, I had about 60 different games. But anyway, yeah, I'm telling you, man, I that's what I do. I go there to
Did you
play games.
sleep at all?
Very little. Very little. But okay, so let me just go through real quick. And again, these are just games that are kind of new to me. A real little quick, and you tell me, you give me a quick little thing. You played a Penguin
All right.
Party, a quick little card game, laying down penguins, party game, fun, light. It was a lot of fun. Just had a good time playing it. House of Fada is
House of
um
Fado,
oh my goodness gracious. Who
Eagle
does
Grip,
Kanban and the
Kanban,
gallerist? What's his name? Oh god, I can't believe
Lacerda.
his name. Vital Lacerda. This is him and another designer, I believe. It's sort of a lighter one.
Yep.
Played that. It was interesting. It was kind of good. Um, Let me see. Cheeky Monkey, which I believe is a Reiner Knizia game, just grabbing little animals out of a bag, and like you have little cheeky monkeys who can take set collection kind of thing. Another fun, quick little party game. Ayard. That's Fabio Lopiano. That's his Essen release, which is coming out, and I got to play it with Fabio, and he taught the game, so that was kind of interesting. He's one of my favorite designers. That's kind of
What was
cool.
that called again?
Ayard, Ayar. It's part of his series with like Merv and Sancore.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then I played Revolve, which is a quick little tiny card game, which is from the designer of Scout, and it's very good, very quick. Played that a lot, taught a lot of people, so
Hmm.
that was really neat. And I'll just do one more, give you a chance, and I'll jump back to it. And Chess Joker, which is not out yet. Again, it's by Carl Chuddick, who does Innovation, Panda Spin, Impulse, Red
Hmm.
7. Another one of
Hmm.
my favorite designers. But it's like Nightmare Chess if you played that,
Oh yeah.
where yeah, it just breaks the rules of chess and crazy things. And you can either win by winning the game of chess, or you can win by collecting points on cards if you activate them. You activate a card and it does a crazy ability and does stuff. So that was kind of neat too. So yeah, those are just a few. And like I said, I got a whole bunch more I can talk about, but I'll let you jump in on something real quick.
Cool. Well, my the big one for me right now is I got my Santorini Kickstarter Pantheon Edition Kickstarter in, and I've broken into the Riddle of the Sphinx actually before I actually broke into the just the base game of Santorini. Because the Riddle of the Sphinx is the one that it's cooperative. You can play it single all the way up to 4 players, and it's a cooperative version of Santorini. I've always enjoyed
Oh, okay.
Santorini, and Riddle of the Sphinx is a cooperative version of Santorini, and I really did enjoy it. The couple of things that it does, you're still doing the same thing as you would be doing in Santorini. That is building the white buildings and trying to put the little blue dome on top. But the number of building pieces that you have available to you is restricted, and you have to. Each level is kind of like a puzzle that you have to build the things that it's required in the right order, or in a very not necessarily there's not only just one way to do it, but they have to be done so that you have enough pieces to continue building, because some of the things that you do in the game unlocks new pieces that you can choose what piece you're going to add to your stockpile.
Okay.
And it's really interesting. And then there's different ways, there's different levels of victory that you can get. You can do just silver, and then gold, and then you have heroic, and then you have godlike. Those are the 4 different levels of winning each scenario. But it's basically kind of in a book, but you also have an adventure map book that allows you to choose different cards and different gods that you can add to your god deck, through as you go through the game, and how many you're able to add is dependent upon how well you do on each of the different levels. And so it's really kind of interesting. You start the game when you start using guards with a 5 card god deck, and it's randomly determined out of, I don't know, something like 30 or 35 or something like that, cards that are in the game, and you can slowly add more cards to it, depending on how well you do. It's so far I'm only a couple of chapters. I think I've played through the 3rd chapter, but later on this afternoon I'm going to be playing it solo on the channel, and I'm going to try to go through as many of the first few uh, scenarios or chapters as I can, just solo mode. But the problem is I'm not very good solo with games like this. So, we'll see how that works, but it's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy that. It's one of those things where when you pay as much as you do for some of these Pantheon or Legendary or 20th anniversary editions, you're like, did I just was that a stupid purchase? And there's none of that. And I've only played Riddle of the Sphinx. I haven't even delved into, playing the base game again. And I know I already enjoy the base game. So the Riddle of the Sphinx is really that kind of icing on the top of the cake. There's no remorse at all from this purchase. So I'm happy when that happens, because often there can be that remorse that kicks in after you get something. You're like, wow, I just spent 2 weeks worth of groceries on this, and I don't know that that was worth it. But
Yeah, but not only that, sometimes, especially a game like Santorini, it's such, to me, a sort of clean,
mhm,
good, just solid game as it is.
right,
So sometimes, like you're saying, if they add stuff, whatever, blah blah blah, it's like messing
mhm,
up a good thing. And one of the
right,
examples I can give um, is, for example, is Suro, right?
mm, okay,
Suro is such a clean, simple,
yep,
straightforward game. But then they made the Phoenix, and they made this these or whatever, like these other versions, and they just sort of, to me, didn't get better. They just got
mm,
worse
mm,
because the game was just so clean, straightforward, and good, and you just
yeah.
ruined a good thing.
Sure. We
So
actually talked about that while we were playing it. A couple of the people that were at Comics Con with me last weekend, we actually were talking about how when you purchase a deluxe edition of a game, how that affects the number of times it actually gets to the table, because now with those deluxe editions, sometimes now it takes longer to set up and it takes longer
True.
to put it away. And so that actually adversely affects how many times you actually get it to the table. It's not that you don't enjoy the game anymore. It's just that you can't get it to the table. You can't play it as fast as you used to because you have all of this deluxe stuff. But
Well, that
yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say that is very true in that essence. Deluxe game. I was talking about like different versions, but like
Yes,
the deluxe game. Sometimes though, Sam, with that is there's no going back. Also,
sure.
so you have to sort of eat the extra time, or you have to accept it.
Yeah.
Like for example, just Castles of Burgundy, right? Like there's no going back to um just the cardboard little pieces and all, and like there's just no going back.
No, there
So
yeah, once you've played the deluxe version, you have less of a desire to play the OG cardboard
oh, for
little
sure.
tiles, because, I mean, I've done that. I've played the Castles of Burgundy, WoW, Nice, Awakened Realms, Deluxefication, and then we played, 'cause a buddy of mine, Doug, he brought his copy of Castles of Burgundy, the original, the OG, to one of our Seamers West nights, and we played it. We only played a couple of rounds because the people that we were teaching it to had to go, and we knew that from the beginning, so we knew we weren't going to finish the game. But I was like, man alive, Doug, you need to get that deluxe version because this is a fun game, but man, I don't like playing it like this anymore.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
What else you got for us, man?
Oh, okay. Let me run through some more. One game that I was really surprised I'd never heard about, a little small Amigo game, Texas Showdown.
Huh?
Have you played
Never heard
that?
of it.
That was a
No.
very fun game. There were like 6 of us, I think. I think we played the maximum player count, could have been 8 or whatever. But it was just really fun. A light little quick party game from Amigo, one of their little small games. Turncoats was an abstract game, played with 3 players. Was very That's one of my highlights of the con. That was a very intriguing abstract strategy game that I really, really enjoyed. I got to play Azul Duel. Now,
Oh,
this is the same feeling I had when I heard about Splendor Duel. I was like, what? Splendor plays perfectly fine at 2. There's no reason for a duel. I was just real ignorant. I'm like, how stupid. Then I played Splendor Duel and I'm like, this is fantastic. They did a great job. Uh, and I was thinking the same thing with the Azul Duel. Like, how stupid. It plays perfectly fine at 2. There's no reason. Um, I played Azul Duel and the Azul Duel is good. They did a good job with it. So that was really nice to see. I did a couple of prototypes. I won't talk about those. I don't even remember that one. Don't even remember those. Let me see. Yeah, I did play a lot. There's a lot of prototypes there
yeah.
that come up. Some Planet Atuk, which is a trick taking game, which was kind of cute. And Atuk is ETUC, which is cute backwards. Um, and let me see. I'll do one more and get back to. Oh, I got to play again with Fabio Lopiano. His Shackleton base came out last year, and I love
Oh,
that game.
yeah.
Fantastic.
That's cool.
Anyway, I got to play 3 new modules because the Shackleton base comes with 7, I believe, corporations. But you only play with 3 per game, and I believe there's
Yeah.
7 of them that come, so you can mix and match and play different ones. Anyway, he's got 3 more corporations that aren't coming out till 2026. So I got to play that with
Cool.
Fabio and Edward from Heavy Cardboard, because a lot of people show Edward from Heavy Cardboard like the heavier games because he does them on his channel.
Yep.
So that was really great to play because I love that game, and it was nice to see the new corporations. And Fabio is just such a man. His brain is just on another level. You know what I mean? Like coming up with these games and things he
Yeah.
designs. He's just on another level.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a couple more.
That's cool. That's really neat. Yeah. People like Vital and Fabiano, is that what it is?
No,
Um,
Fabio Lopiano. Yeah.
Fabio Lopiano, yes. They are amazingly bright, and
Oh yeah.
you said it right. Their brain just works differently, and it's one of those things where you just kind of you when you're playing games with them, especially if it's their game and they're able to answer all of your questions that you might come up with during the game, and it's just like they answer it right off the bat. It's amazing that they can keep all that stuff compartmentalized and categorized correctly in their brains. Because man, I don't know how it is with you, but with me, it's like all this stuff starts bleeding together, and I start, every time we break out Ticket to Ride, how mmany cards do we start with? Do we
Yeah.
start with 4 or 5?
Yeah, I know. Because Martin Wallace, I had dinner with him and hung out with him several times. Designer of uh, Brass Birmingham and many other games.
Yep.
He said the same thing to me. He was like, sometimes he can come up with a concept and have the game complete in 2 weeks, like a full game. And I was like, wait a second, what'd you just say? I was like, did you say 2 weeks? And he was like, yeah, because sometimes their brains, again, Martin's been doing it for probably 40 years now, right? So,
Yeah.
he has that. And Lopiano, obviously, Fabio, not that long, but, he just has that brain. And they just have that brain. Because again, with Fabio's modules, I'm just like, wow, like to come up with this and for the algorithms and to figure out how many you need, the proportions and this and that and blah. It's
Yeah.
just incredible how their brains are, they think.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. I wonder, coming up with a raw design like that, I wonder how much they rely upon developers. Do they have a team that I know companies have their own developers, publishers do, but I wonder if designers have their own group of like they must have their own group of personal play testers that they take a raw design to and say, "Hey, what do you think?"
I imagine they do, of course, right? You have to, but still, it's when this is your profession or something you've done hundreds, thousands of times,
Yeah.
you just know, and you
Yeah.
can relate to that too, Sam, right? Because, for example, like I said, Martin would know, after 2 weeks, he probably knows, okay, this game is going to work, it's going to play, blah 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 blah. The same thing with like Tom told me, right? Tom knows like after one time. Like, because people ask him all the time, I'm sure, how many times you play a game before you feel you can review it? Well,
Yeah.
somebody like Tom, who's played thousands and thousands and thousands of games, he's learned enough. He knows after one play, whatever his judgment is, he can trust his judgment because of his database of experience, right? Yes,
Mm.
I know whether or not I can objectively say this is a good game or not, right?
Yeah.
So even though they do have, I'm sure, design groups and people they give it to, playtesters and stuff, they have a pretty good idea after they get it done whether or not this is a game that's can go somewhere and how much more they need.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get it. I'm a little bit on. Uh, I don't usually trust myself after just one play of a game. My personal kind of arbitrary. There are some games that I will know after the first play if I like it or not. But being able to review it after just one, I'm usually a little bit uncomfortable with that. I usually like to get at least 3 plays of a game in before I even think about reviewing it, and because my thing is that I need to solidify my opinion of the game um, before I tell other people about it, especially on a platform such as Flipside or Dice Tower. Um, so if, for example, if a game has a solo mode and then it also handles multiple players, I want to play it solo, and then I also want to play it at least 2 of the other player counts. And usually, I wanted to do one of those needs to be its maximum player count, and the other one has to be somewhere in between. And that is the bare minimum, generally speaking. Sometimes I break that rule, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I
Right.
break it on the low end, and sometimes I break it on the high end. Because after 3 plays, like if I play it solo and with 3 players and with 5 players, and I'm still going, I don't know about this, then I want to play it with 4 players, or I want to play it with 2 players. Um, it
True,
just
but
one of those
but
things.
also, Sam, aren't you, but you're talking about with the goal of reviewing the game, correct? So
Sure.
I think what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, is that you just want to make sure that before you sort of give your opinion or review the game, you want to make sure that you fully vetted it in all different iterations, right? What I'm
Yes.
talking about is objectively, like just
Mm,
saying, playing the game and saying, okay, this is a good game, bad game, or whatever, whether not being subjective, like it's just for me or not for me, but whether or
mm,
not it's a good game. Because, like, for instance, Richard Rado, right? Richard uh, says he can just read the rules because he gets a lot of submissions from publishers to do the thing, and he has to take it on whether or not he wants to review it or not, because that's how he makes his money. And he
yeah.
reads the rules and decides whether or not he wants to review it. And he says he can just tell by reading the rules whether or not he's going to like it. Not whether or not it's a good game or not, but whether or not he is going to like the game.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm a little bit of an outlier, if I can put it that way, because I do not believe that I mean, and again, I'm not a I've not studied gamification. I've not done all of that stuff. As a reviewer, I'm very conscious of what I believe to be the fact that my review is not an objective, this is good or this is bad. Because I truly believe that there are a number of games, many games out there that we may say are bad, but that doesn't mean that they won't be enjoyed and liked by a lot of people that are out there. So my opinion is that a review is not objective, it is always subjective. It's always your opinion of the game. Now, you might have 20 years of experience behind you saying I didn't like this game and these are my reasons for not liking this game. Um but for somebody to take anybody to take that experience and say this is an objectively bad game, I think that's an overstep. And I'm fine
Oh,
with
really?
being the
Okay.
outlier there. I don't believe that you can objectively say this is good or this is bad when it comes to games because not all games are for all people. So while, for example, Cards Against Humanity, I have no desire whatsoever to play that game. I've never played that game, and I don't care if I never play that game because of the kind of game that it is. But does that mean that I can say that it's objectively bad? No. I don't like party games. I think party games are not as fun as other games. Does that mean that party games are bad? No, you can't say that. That's the idea that I take with it. And so I just,
But here's the thing, Sam. I mean, I see where you're going. However, I think Cards Against Humanity is sort of a bad example, and the reason I think it's a bad example, that to me that's not a game. It's right. It's there's it's sort of strictly an activity. You pick a card, you lay it. It's you know what I mean. So it's not really a game. What I'm talking about is if you have a game and you play it, because I've heard Tom, like, he does these things where it's like 5 games you throw in the trash or something, or or whatever he does. You know what I'm talking about. He does these kind of videos, and he gives like the reasons, like, because he'll say, like, because of this and that, they you play a card but it doesn't do anything, and then you play this other card and it does the same thing which didn't do that, and blah blah blah. So there are actual things that you can actually point to that
Mhm.
are like, this is why this is a bad game, because it just doesn't functionally work properly. You see what I'm saying?
What's the point of playing a game though?
What's that?
What's the point of playing a game? Why do we play games?
Oh, I mean, everybody. I mean, I don't. I mean, there are probably dozens of reasons we can come up with, right? I mean,
Sure,
some
but
people.
more often than not, you can boil it down to just one thing, though, right? It's entertainment. It's fun.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but so if we start labeling games as bad, that is going to tell people, well, I'm not going to have fun with this game then. If it's a bad game, I'm not going to have fun with it. But that's not necessarily true, is it?
I would. Yes, I think it could be, actually.
Could
If the
be.
game.
No, you said could be, but that's not, which means that it's not necessarily true. that I'm being semantical, but I'm being semantical on purpose because I think this is a semantical difference, and it's just something that I don't want to tell people don't play this game because it's bad because I didn't like it.
Right, right.
I would rather say, okay, this game's not for me because I didn't enjoy this game, and this is why I didn't enjoy this game. But if you enjoy this, then maybe you should try this game. If you enjoy that, then maybe you should try this game because you might find it fun, whereas I did not. See, there's a difference between objectively saying this game is bad, you should stay away from it because you won't like it. There's a difference between that and saying I didn't like this game because of these reasons, but you might like it if you like A, B, C, and D.
Oh
So
no,
those
I no, I agree with you 100%, but I'm just saying that there are games that are they're just bad games that
Hmm,
like for example, Uncle Charlie, because again, I say this all the time, right? And I experienced this with Meepleville a lot, and when I had the board game cafe and all this kind of stuff.
mhm,
A lot of people think there are only 20 board games in the world, right?
mhm,
Monopoly, chess, whatever, blah blah blah.
right,
They know. So when
right,
Uncle Charlie develops a game, they think it's the 21st game. So it's the greatest thing ever because
right.
he's one of only 21 people who've ever invented a game.
Mhm.
However, I've seen people bring those games into Meepleville, or I play those games, and they are bad games, right? They're just bad because they're just not they're just bad because of the way they're. I don't know if I can explain it, Sam, but it's because and I'm being 100% objective. It's not
Yeah,
because they just don't have the experience, and they've been told by people who just because they think Uncle Charlie made the 21st game of their mom or dad made it or whatever, but
yeah.
they're just bad games. They don't, you know what I
Well
mean? So there are games that are just bad,
well,
like straight out objectively bad.
okay. Well, I I guess we'll have to agree to disagree on that because, like, for example, I've had people do the same thing. They bring this game in and they're gushing about it. This is so fun. They've poured their time and effort into this game, and first thing out of their mouth is, okay, well, what you do on your turn is the first thing you do on your turn is you take this die and you roll it, and that determines how far you get to move. And and at that point, I'm like, the rest of this is going to be downhill because you've just started off on one of my least favorite mechanisms.
Right.
Um, but and usually what I'll do is I will play through the game without saying a word to them about that. But at the end, because they're asking me for my opinion about it, I will say, you need to change the roll and move mechanism because it's old, it's antiquated. There's other ways you can do it that will give your players much more ownership in their game and ownership in their turn and what they can choose to do and choose not to do and all of this kind of stuff. But a roll and move mechanism doesn't make it a bad game, though. It just
True.
means
True.
that it is an antiquated mechanism, and you need to do some more research to see what you can do to improve it upon that. There
Yeah.
are some games that I enjoy that have roll and move mechanisms in them. So I'm
Right.
not saying that it is on a whole a bad mechanism. It's just an old mechanism. And
Right.
so that's where I'm leery of making that objective determination because sometimes these bad games just simply have old mechanisms in them. And
No.
old doesn't necessarily mean bad.
No. 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 I agree with you, but again, I'm not just talking about just the roll and move part. Like if you
No, I
if
get it.
this
I
guy
get it.
no if this guy did that to you and so you roll and move, but if you play the whole game, you're just like okay. But okay, then you do what with the roll move? Okay, that's not
Mhm.
good. But then do what? Oh, but what does that accomplish? Oh, what did you do here? They just haven't really thought it. Like it's just like for example, I mean, I don't know. Like say for example, is tic tac toe a bad game?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Oh, okay, I do.
Well, that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. If because some people will have um my wife's ex, he's passed on, but he had an entire journal Not an entire. I don't know. I've only been told. So there might be some room for hyperbole here. But he had a multiple pages of a journal written on what was the optimum move in tic tac toe for each individual situation that could have occurred while you're playing tic tac toe. He spent time doing that. Why? I have no idea. That blows my mind. And I'm like, oh my gosh, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Why did you waste all that time figuring out that stuff? Okay, so, but that's how his brain worked. That's what he did for fun. And if the purpose for playing games, if the purpose for entertainment is to enjoy oneself, I cannot objectively say that tic tac toe is bad. If it provides fun for the people who want to get fun from it, then who am I to say that it's a bad game? Because it's accomplishing its purpose.
Oh, okay, okay, right. I mean, with that being said, if you have two people who
Mhm.
are normal to average intelligence
Yes.
who play tic tac toe,
Yes.
what fun could ever be derived from playing tic tac toe?
Spending time together.
To do, I mean, why not just sit and talk? Doing,
Sure.
but what, but what is, why play tic tac toe? Because it doesn't do anything. Two, you'll ne what do you like? Why? I don't.
Why
Why would you
not?
play tic tac toe? To
Why
do
not?
what?
Why
Because
not?
it doesn't do anything.
So does
Just sit.
talking, really.
What's that?
So does talking, really. Talking really doesn't do anything.
Oh, sure it does. I mean, you have like we're talking right now. We're having conversations.
True.
We're right,
True.
but if we
Yes.
spent this time tic tac toe, at the end of 20 minutes, Sam, we would have accomplished nothing
No, but
because
we
we're never.
did. But we did. We played a game together. That's what we accomplished.
But it's I don't okay. I don't consider. Well, again, that's where we agree to disagree. I don't consider tic tac toe a game. I
Okay.
don't even know what tic tac toe is because I just
Is
don't.
checkers a game?
Absolutely,
Okay. But I could say the same thing about checkers. I
I
could
don't
say the
think
same
so.
thing about chess. I could say the same thing
What-
about everything.
No,
If
but Sam, no, not at all. I'm talking specifically about tic tac toe. Like I said, Sam, you know as well as I do. Two people of normal intelligence playing tic
yeah,
tac toe,
yes.
it'll accomplish nothing in an hour. Not again, you can say we're spending time together. I get all that. Okay,
Well,
I agree with you there.
well,
But as far as the actual just the game, what could be accomplished in just the game of tic tac toe in an hour? Nothing.
if okay, if you're trying to accomplish something by playing tic-tac-toe, I would probably agree with that. But again, I'm the outlier here and I'm fine being that way. Uh the if you're having fun by playing tic-tac-toe, whether you accomplish anything or not, it has still accomplished its purpose of passing the time. I don't know, how whatever you want to call it. And I'm not saying that I enjoy tic tac toe. And good heavens, in the morning, who who is going to play tic tac toe for hours? I don't know.
Mhm.
You need to go drink some coffee or something. I don't know what is wrong with you if you're playing tic tac toe for hours. But the idea is that if the purpose, and again, capital I, capital F, if the purpose of playing games is to have fun, if you accomplish that, no matter how objectively bad the game is, it has accomplished its purpose of providing the people that are playing that game with fun. Just because I don't have fun playing a game doesn't mean that somebody else isn't going to have fun.
Right, and like I said, I agree with you. But again, like I'm saying, the example I'm picking is tic tac toe. I just again, I just don't see how you could ever have fun out of playing tic tac toe because there's
I would have fun because if I get you to play tic tac toe, I'm going to shout it from the rooftops that I got Tim to play tic tac toe with me.
I'll be like, you won't get. I'll say no. I'm not gonna play tic
I'll
tac.
tie you down and you're going to play tic tac toe.
No, I'm gonna play a million other things with you, Sam.
But here's the thing. Look, I really have to be careful because I don't mean to diminish anybody else's opinion. I really don't. All
Right.
I'm saying is that I do not feel like I have the right to say that any one game is objectively bad. I just don't feel like I have the right to do that.
Mhm.
Because I might be cutting somebody out of, if they trust what I say, I might be cutting something out of something that they might really enjoy much more than I ever did. And
True.
I don't feel like I have the right to do that to them. So what I'm going to do is I will say I didn't enjoy this game. I did enjoy this game. This is what I enjoyed out of this game, even though I really didn't like it. So if you enjoy these things, then you'll have fun with it. I would much rather be a I would much rather be a guidepost than a stop sign. That's
Mhm.
where I'm pretty much going.
Right, right, right.
So am I going to talk about games that I don't enjoy? No, I'm probably not if I have the choice. Now, if somebody backs me into a corner and says, "Do you like this game? Yes or no?" And I'll be honest with them. I'm not going to lie. But if I have the choice, which I do on my channel,
Yes, you
if
do.
I have the choice, I will choose not to cover games that I don't like, which kind of does still pass along that information, right? Well,
Mhm.
you haven't reviewed this game. Well, I've already told you that I don't review games that I don't like. So guess what? You know, you know, I don't like that game if I haven't covered it, or I just haven't played it yet. Those are the two things. So you asked,
Right.
and I'll tell you. I'm very much of the opinion right now that I don't want to be a tragedy vampire. That's the moniker, or not the moniker. That's the name that I've given to people who just who think that a negative review is the only true review that's on the internet. I don't see that at all.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Right, absolutely.
I'm sorry. I'm sitting in a cloud of dog fart right now, and it's disgusting. And I really don't wanna open my mouth. It's disgusting. I'm sorry. That's why I stopped talking. I was like, "I'm just gonna sit here for a little bit, and not breathe, please." Oh my gosh. Golly,
Wow.
bro.
All right, well, I'll talk about a couple more
Whoa.
things real quick, that I covered. So I played a lot of, Japanese, card games, because I know
Yeah,
Tokyo Game Market's a big thing, and there's a lot of people at the gathering who are really into those type of games, and they bring them over, and sometimes they're like they'll be the only copy here in America. I'm using a little bit
yeah.
of hyperbole or whatever, but still, so I got to play a lot of really unique Japanese card games. But anyway, I played like a Rondo, which is a Reiner Knizia game.
Hmm,
Again, he colors and numbers, man. That guy just has figured out a way to do things with colors and numbers. It's just incredible. I never
yeah,
played Mondo before. It's a game where you're just putting chips down, covering colored numbers with chips, and it was fun. It was really good. But typical Reiner Knizia, just a great, good, solid game.
yep.
Um, I played so here is sort of like what we're talking about, and there's many others. But again, I played a lot of the games I've already played before because I was able to teach a lot of people, show a lot of people, just jump into games. Um, and I played Fromage. Have you played that yet?
No, but people have, been, screaming about it from the mountaintops, so
Yes, and people were screaming about it from the mountaintops. People highly praise that game, highly love that game. So again, sort of what we're talking about objectively, I can definitely see why people like it, why people enjoy it.
yeah.
Subjectively, not for me at all. I was literally counting. I was literally just like hoping this would be the last turn. Because what it is, it's just one of those games where everybody is doing their own thing.
Yeah,
Like period, end of story.
yeah,
And I just those type of games, I think I've talked about it before,
yep.
they make me anxious. I
Narrate your
don't
turn.
enjoy them. I don't like them
Yeah.
because here's the thing: what was so frustrating, Sam, is I couldn't learn. The guy
Yep.
gave a great teach. There were three of us playing. Even the other person said, "Oh wow, that was such a great teach." gave a great teach, but I'm one of those kind of people. I can't really absorb just the teach. I need to. I'm more. I need to do. I need to place.
Do
I
it.
need to watch. I need to learn. So with a solitaire game, I couldn't do that. I couldn't watch and learn because it's like everybody's doing their own thing. Why are you doing that? Why is he doing? It was so frustrating and so unenjoyable for me.
Yep.
That it's
Have you
just
ever have you ever played After Us?
I have not.
Okay. You probably wouldn't like it. And
If it's
and
that type
and
of game, probably not.
and
Right.
it's because of that thing where you basically have, and this is the other game that I was going to talk about today, so we'll just kind of shoehorn it in here.
Yeah.
After Us is one of my favorite games. Vincent Dutrait artwork, great artwork, a beautiful game. But the mechanism is you have 4 cards that are from your deck. It's a deck builder, and you're going to be playing them down into your tableau so that you can connect different frames that and each complete frame that is a complete box will do a number of different things in 3 different rows. The first row, it's always just generating resources that you're going to use later on. The second row is usually generate using some of those resources to generate points or to generate other kinds of resources. And then the last row on the cards are usually just points based. And every once in a while, it's going to be generating something else that you'll need so that you can use it to score more points later on. And so what you do is you put your 4 cards down in such a way that on the edges of the cards, that's where some of those frames are going to be connecting. So you're trying to figure out what order from right to left or what have you you're going to put these cards so that you can generate the most frames. But that is all heads down. You're not watching anybody else do that, and so everything is simultaneous. Everything
Oh,
is
okay.
okay. Everybody run your first row, which is where you're grabbing all of these different resources. Okay, everybody run your second row, which is where you're going to be using some of those resources to do other things. And very much at the end of a of where you're done activating all of those rows, you look around and you're like, how in the world did you get so many of that? And how did you do that? And it very much has that what you're talking about as far as somebody just scored 15 points and you're like, oh, how, what did you just do? um so I totally get that. I don't think you'll like After Us because of that.
Right.
But it's basically just a race to get around to 80 points first, and then whomever triggers the end, we finish that round, and whoever has the most points over 80 is the winner at that point. But it's a race to get around to 80 points first. I really enjoy it. What you're using resources for is to attract more primates into your deck so that you can use them to generate more points later on. And then there's 4 different kinds of primates, and each of them do different things. Gorillas will help you generate rage, which is a way for you to cull cards out of your deck. The orangutans are the ones that are more tech savvy, so they're going to be giving you more batteries, which you can use batteries to use special abilities. And then the mandrills, the baboons, are the ones that are just going to generate more points more often. And then the chimpanzees are um, uh, monkeys that are going to be kind of like a jack of all trades, but ace of none. But it's so you're building your deck and you're trying to get your engine running quickest to get up to 80 points fastest.
Right.
But I don't know if you'll like it or not. Maybe I just need to teach it to you and we'll see. But um, it's one of those games. It's one of my favorite games. I love it. It's one of those games that because everything is done simultaneously, it handles all 6 players. It goes from 1 all the way up to 6. And that's one of the reasons why I like it so much is because the amount of time that you use playing the game doesn't really change a whole lot depending upon how many people are playing. Some time is added when you add more players. That's to be done, but it's not a drastic change. But
Right.
I really enjoy it.
So here is kind of going back a little bit to what we were talking about before, right? What is fun, all this kind of
Mhm.
stuff. So to me, because I don't I don't quite understand if you get 6 people together, like you're saying, to play
Yeah.
this game, But
Yeah.
yet, as soon as you sit down,
Yep.
then there's no more togetherness. You're kind
No,
of
there
just
is.
like, oh, let's get together now. Let's do our own thing. I don't. To me, that's just not fun.
Well, yeah, I totally understand you. With After Us, there's only a phase where you are heads down. And after that, you're head up. You're looking at what's on the board. What are you going to what monkey you're going to call into your deck. You're also having to look at your neighbors to see what kind of special little bonus token they've used, because you can use a couple of resources of the same kind to mimic one of their special abilities. So there is some player action. It's just in that one phase, you are heads down, you're doing what you can do, and then you're firing off your things. And then once that phase is over, you're head up looking around at what other people are doing. And that's when usually, because I usually do ask people, as you've talked about earlier, well, in a different podcast, that to narrate what they're doing as they're doing it, so that I can keep an ear on what people are doing. And if I hear some extraordinary numbers, I'm like, okay, wait, I'll stop what
Yeah,
I'm doing, and then I'll go, okay,
right,
show
right,
me what
right.
you're doing. I'll do that. But there's three phases in every round, and only one of those is head down, doing all of your stuff and firing off all of your stuff, and then it's head up. This is what I'm doing, and okay, I see what you're doing, and I see what you're doing. So it's not the entire time that you're head down. There is time where there's interaction built into every single round.
Okay.
But it's definitely, it kind of can feel like, take a breath, underwater. Da, 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 da. Okay, come back up, breathe, and back down. It's one of those things.
Right. And I guess the reason, just for me, in particular, is because my favorite genre, um, I know it's changed over the years, right? We all change things. At first used to be worker placement, blah, blah, blah for the
Mhm.
longest time. But, in the past couple of years, my favorite genre now is cooperative games with either limited communication or hidden information. That's my favorite genre.
Yes.
So
Yes.
with that being said, that's why anytime a game introduces you just doing your own thing and not having any interaction is just the antithesis or
Right.
the 100% opposite of what I love. So that's why, to me, I just really
Interesting. No, that's
don't
interesting,
enjoy
because
that.
you love heavy games, and a lot of heavy games do that. That's
Well,
what blows my mind about that statement.
Well, yes and no, Sam. They see that, and that's why people sometimes, we probably have to talk about this another time because we're getting close to the end here. But that's what I think people confuse sometimes, right? Because I do see what you're saying, but a lot of those games still have some interaction. What I mean is you may have a central board where you're
Mhm.
fighting over resources or you're doing this. Yes. But for the most part, you're doing your own thing, but there still is some sort of interaction.
Sure.
And you know what I mean? But I'm just
Yep.
talking about games where it's sort of one, like some of the game, and again, I'm talking about games where it just at any point where you're sort of totally disconnected, and at the end, because again, those games you're talking about, the heavier games, I can kind of see where your points are coming from, how you got something. But like
Yeah.
you said, in this game, like After Us, you're like, what? You scored 15 points? How'd you do that? Because you have
Well,
no
yeah,
idea
no,
what
and
they
that's
just
the
did.
thing.
Yeah.
If I look over at their tableau and I look at their cards, I can say, "Oh, okay, yeah, they did this, and they did that." That it's just, there's that initial point where, whoa, you scored 15 points and you still have 10 resources left over. No, that's not correct. What did you do? That it's that kind of thing. I
Right, right,
can
right.
definitely see how they scored their points, but the initial, I just scored 15 points, and you're like, say what?
Hmm.
Because it actually, in the game that we played, we actually, where we were all kind of right around, like, in between 40 and 50 points, and then one guy goes, okay, I just scored 80, and I was like, timeout. What did you do? And so we started talking about it. He's like, oh yeah, I cheated, sorry. I'm just gonna take my piece off the board. You guys continue to play, because I've been playing wrong the entire game. And so it's just one of those things where he made a mistake. He had just played the game the night before,
Right.
and he misunderstood something, and we didn't catch it until he rounded 80 points. It happens, but that's usually not a common occurrence. And the first few rounds of a game like this, I usually like to go, okay, now you do yours, I'll do mine. Now you do yours, and you do yours. A couple of rounds in, after everybody kind of understands all of the iconography, then I'll say, okay, now let's do it simultaneous, and that'll speed the game up a little bit.
Right.
But no, I usually cooperative games are my favorite genre of games. Period. Hard stop. End of discussion. Because I love the idea of everybody working together against a common good or a common evil, or working towards the common good or against a common evil. I really enjoy that kind of situation that a cooperative game will foster. I don't shy away from competitive games, don't get me wrong, but I really enjoy games that are are cooperative, where people can work together. So next week, what we're going to talk about is rules lawyers. We're going to talk about
lawyers. Yes. Okay.
Rules lawyers. ... That's what next week is going to be all about. That's what we planned on talking about this week, but we got carried away. So,
we did, but it's a good subject. It's a good subject. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I definitely think what is like we've talked about this before about giving reviews, but again, what's one person's fun is what's that saying about one person's cup of coffee is another person's cup of tea or whatever, like different taste. So like what's fun for you may not be fun for other people, all this kind of stuff. Right. And objectively, subjectively, yes. Well, it was a good talk as always, Sam, and it's good seeing you. It's been a couple weeks, so I'm glad we got together, and we will be together again next week, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, folks, thank you so much again for sitting with us, listening to us, whether it's on a podcast or you're watching this on the Dice Tower channel. Remember to subscribe, go visit Sam over at the Flipside of Board Gaming too. Watch his channel as well. But again, thanks again, and we will see you next week. For now, I'm Timm Metivier from Las Vegas saying goodbye.
And I'm Sam Healey. We'll see you guys and gals on the flip side. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you like this review or whatever you just watched, wasn't it amazing? Check out our channel, Dice Tower. We have all kinds of things. We review games, we do top 10s, we play games live. It's all about board games, but especially the people who play them. Check out Dice Tower YouTube channel.